Today we have so much to talk about. Everything from what Princess has said about how the fires in LA might affect cruise passengers and what they're going to do about it. We need to talk about an update on the Majestic Princess with regard to the laundry. We're going to be talking about seat squatting on airplanes because so many of us have to take that plane in order to go on a cruise. It's something that you need to know, and lots more. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Friday. It is January 10th of 2025. And let's start at the top. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, will you please hit that subscribe button? And if you appreciate my updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? We sure appreciate you and are glad to have you with us. Also, this evening we will be doing our live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So bring your questions and come and be ready to have a fun time talking about cruising. Look forward to seeing you there. Now let's start at the very top with what is going on with those devastating fires in Los Angeles and the way that it is impacting cruising. There are not words for me to sum up my heartfelt feelings about what is going on as people's homes and businesses burn in LA. So know that our thoughts and prayers are with all of you who are affected there and with your families and your loved ones. And we're praying for your safety and doing what we can to help. Alrighty, and so I encourage all of you to do the same. Now, Princess Cruises just announced a little while ago that if you are someone who lives in an evacuation area or whose home has been significantly damaged by the fire on any cruise scheduled between January 11th to January 30th of 2025, so it's not a really big window here. So if you fall in that window of time, you've got a cruise book that departs from that January 11th, like I said, through January 30th of 2025, Princess will give you a future cruise credit so that you can go ahead and go on a cruise another time that works better with your schedule. Things like your shore excursion any payments you've made for that, all of that, the port fees and taxes will all come back to your credit card, and just your cruise fare is going to sit there as a future cruise credit, okay? So let us know in the comments if any of you are affected by that. I know at least one Let's Go family member has lost their home and we're trying to figure out what to do to help. And so let us know how things are going for those of you that live in California. Let us just know, like put a quick comment and say we're okay so that we know you're okay, and leave what's going on in the comments, would you? I'm really hoping they extend this window because it's not very long of a window there if you haven't had your home destroyed or significantly damaged. I will say that when those hurricanes happened down in Florida, had a guest who lost their home in the hurricane, lived in the Tampa area there, and they had a cruise going out on Norwegian. So I called and asked, and there was no relief for that. They just, had to go or not go pretty much. And so just wanted to let you know that's what Princess Cruises is doing. And by the way, the Discovery Princess will be back there at the Port of LA tomorrow, January 11th, for turnaround day for those cruises. And so I'm really anxious to hear from anyone who is on that ship coming back into port, what that looks like, as well as those of you who are trying to get to the port to leave on your cruise. This is just huge, really, really big. So, like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with all of you. Now, we also need to talk about norovirus again. I hate to keep talking about this, but you know what? It keeps coming up. So we've got a guest who is going to be embarking on the Crown Princess January 11th, which it's in Australia. So it's already much closer to happening right now. But they received an announcement saying that embarkation had been pushed back to 2 p.m. because they need to do a deep cleaning on the ship, because on the prior voyage says a small number of guests had been impacted by the norovirus. So of course they do their best to clean everything again and do everything they can to mitigate the spread there. A couple of things I want to mention about that. I did check the CDC's website. Norovirus is still a really big thing going on here in the United States. Clearly, it's going on in other parts of the world as well, as we hear about it going on with cruising. So it's not just on ships, it's everywhere. It is going around an awful lot. The other thing that I want to say, anybody here listening and you're worried about going on a cruise ship because you might get the norovirus, I'm just throwing this out here. Cruise ships, their crew do a really good job to do everything they can to mitigate that. And I would say that they are close to the top of how much they clean and try to keep a handle on everything on board the ship. There are very, you would have to stay at a very fancy, very cleanliness-oriented hotel in order to get that kind of service. You don't get that when you're on an airplane. Get on the airplane. By the time, you're partway through the flight, the powder rooms aren't as clean as they could be if somebody was constantly cleaning like we see on cruise ships. So my point is, you can catch that everywhere you go, whether you're going to the grocery store, but it is always so important, no matter whether you're going to the grocery store, if you're going on a cruise ship, on a flight, to school or to work, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. That is the number one thing that is recommended to stop the spread of norovirus. So there you go. That's the news about norovirus for today. Next up, the Majestic Princess. The other day I let you know that the Majestic Princess was sailing there between Buenos Aires and Montevideo, Uruguay, and they had to shut down guest laundry, the ship doing guest laundry for people for like 4 days. During that time, of course, that would probably make some people worry about getting their laundry done, but I'm really grateful. Someone who is on the Majestic Princess replied and let us know a little bit about it. So first of all, this is really cool. This is so cool, so you have to listen. So when you go between Montevideo and Buenos Aires, either direction, you go on the Plate River. That's how they said it when we were there. I believe it's spelled P-L-A-T. But the captain said Plate River, and the local people there, because they have this really cool museum about it that we went to in Montevideo. That's how they pronounce it. It is really huge. It is so big that when you're sailing on it, you could think you're in the ocean. You can't see either shore. But the water is so silty, that you are there. Well, the ship needs to be in ocean water in order to be able to convert water to potable water. And so that's where it came in. They're on this long sailing. They were in Buenos Aires overnight. They went down to Montevideo. They had to go back to Buenos Aires. But at any rate, they extended the amount of time that they were on that river rather than out in the ocean. So that's why they had to be really careful and keep an eye on how much water they were using. And so this is really rare. I looked at a lot of itineraries, and it's really rare that you would have them going back and forth the way that they did. And so when we go on our Antarctica cruise next year, if you want to join us, we have a few more places left. It's January 25th, 2026. We have an overnight in Buenos Aires. Then we go to Montevideo, and then we head from there south on our way to Antarctica. And so I don't anticipate us having this problem, because we'll have the overnight in Buenos Aires, then we'll go to Montevideo, but we're not going to go back to Buenos Aires again next, right? We're going to get back, we'll head on our way down. So I just wanted to let you know this. If you ever have an itinerary that really extends your time in a river like that, it might impact the ability of the ship to do laundry. And if everybody is washing all of their clothes, they might have to shut down the guest laundry, but they said the guest laundry was able to stay open the whole time. So I hope you appreciate that. And thank you again to our Let's Go family member who let us know. Next up, I want to revisit that cancellation that Princess just announced not too long ago about canceling that September 5th, 2026 sailing of the Regal Princess. And the reason that I want us to think about this together and be aware of this is they announced that cancellation just within like the last week. It's not been a long time at all. However, one of our Let's Go family members who was already booked on that cruise noticed quite some time ago that for that cruise was supposed to disembark in New York. And so of course the next cruise would embark in New York. But he noticed on the itinerary on the Princess website that the following cruise was not going to be embarking in New York City, but was going to be embarking in Fort Lauderdale. And so with noticing that, he had shot an email off to Princess and had not heard back, and then finally they canceled the cruise. So here's a few things that I want you to think about when you're looking at your cruises. Number one, I know that we're all really busy, but I'm going to start taking more time and making sure of what is happening at the end of my cruise with the ship that I will be sailing on, that they're going to start in that same port, that everything seems to be going okay with that, so that I have an idea. If I notice a discrepancy like that, then I will know to really pay a lot of attention and see what's going on with it. So make sure you pay a lot of attention on that. The other thing I want you to be aware of is when any cruise line makes any itinerary changes, they are supposed to notify the guests, they're supposed to notify the travel advisor so that everybody knows what's going on. Every time I get a notification, I hurry up and forward it to the guest in case Princess didn't send it to them, or Norwegian, whatever cruise line it is. But sometimes those notifications don't go out. They either don't come to the travel agent or they don't go to the guest. And so keep an eye on the Princess website. I know that it's not always changed to reflect all of the itinerary changes, but it really also helps to maybe be like in a Facebook group. Stick around here because I let you know about any itinerary changes that I hear about. You can send them to me and I'll share them with everyone, but really go out of your way to stay on top of things just a little bit, and then maybe you'll be a little bit more prepared for what actually happens on your cruise, what port you visit, or even thinking about the likelihood of your cruise maybe being canceled. Finally, let's talk about seat squatters. So seat squatter is a new term that I have been hearing about more and more. And the reason that I want to talk to you about it is because it really is a thing. I think that the way things are going in society, we might be seeing more of it. It's certainly being reported more often. And a lot of us have to fly, not only to see family, but if we're going to go on a cruise. And so we need to know what's going on. So first of all, you get on the airplane, you go to your seat, you sit down. There are some people who would rather have another seat than the seat that they are assigned to. Either they booked later than they wanted to, or they want to sit by somebody else, like in their family or their friend, or they don't really like that area of the airplane. So they just figure they'll sit in another seat and see if they can get to keep it. And the problem with that is that's not their seat. And so here's what you need to do if this happens to you. And I want to add, not too long ago, I sat in the wrong seat on accident. I sat in the wrong row. So if someone is sitting in your seat, or you think they are, first of all, pay attention to what row it is and what seat it is, and make sure that you're looking at the right seat. But once you ascertain that someone really is sitting in your seat, you just politely say, "That is my seat." If they don't hop up and move to their other seat, get out of your seat, then you don't give them a hard time or anything. You signal to the flight attendant to come, because they will take care of it for you, because you don't want to get stuck with someone, fighting with you or anything like that. The important thing to remember is let the flight attendant take care of it, and remember that that's your seat. If there is a reason that they give that you think, well, okay, they can have my seat, that's your choice. That's your choice, but you're not obligated to do that, because that's your seat, okay? And you paid for it. Now, I know every once in a while, I have traded people seats before so that they could sit by their family member, sometimes like that. But sometimes people just want to sit in an aisle or a window instead of a middle seat. And I don't like to sit in middle seats as much as I like a window or an aisle either. But when I have a middle seat, I sit in my middle seat. So I'm telling you about this so that you can be aware that it is really a thing, and to be prepared for when it happens. Let me know if this has ever happened to you before. When I sat in the wrong seat, the gentleman came and he said, "You're in my seat." And I was like, oh my goodness. And I hurried up and moved. And so that's what people would do if they accidentally sat in your seat. And so just wanted to make you aware. Let me know if it's happened to you. I don't think any of you would sit in someone else's seat on purpose, so you don't have to mention that. But I really look forward to hearing from you all, because as traveling to get on a cruise is such a big deal, it's important that we know what's going on. So I look forward to hearing from all of you. I love reading your comments. I learned so much. Gives me a really good idea of what's going out there. So thanks for taking the time to make a comment. I very much appreciate it, and I know that a lot of other people read them and learn a lot as well. So thank you. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.